Hi, I'm Heather, but my buds call me Bold, and I'm your chief hockey officer. Now, I fell in love with this game for the first time when I was 6 years old, under the street lights, with rollerblades and a tennis ball, like most kids do in this country. But all my buds went off to play in leagues. Girls didn't really play in leagues. I thought that was it for me in the game, and I was devastated. Lucky for me, despite my family having zero interest in the game, my mom went out and found the girls' league, which was difficult to do at the time. But at 8, I finally started playing in a league, so I got my first set of equipment, I got my first hockey jersey that was all my own, and I got my first set of other tomboy buds. Because that's the thing. In school, I'd play with the boys. At home, I'd play with the boys. Because we could do fun things like playing basketball and hockey and football. But they all got to play in leagues. And up until that point, I didn't. And then I started making all these friends who were girls and who loved hockey just as much as I did. It was amazing. At 8, I also saw my first NHL game. The Detroit Red Wings, the New York Rangers, in exhibition. And little did I know this would change my whole story. Because in this NHL game, Chris Osgood came out and belly flopped on a breakaway. And my little 8-year-old head just exploded. That was so cool. I want to be a goalie. So at the time, being in novice, I could. I mean, we were rotating through goalie anyways. So I just took more games in net. Now that didn't go unnoticed. Because before I knew it, I was getting called up to play in a travel team. So now with this travel team, I not only had girl buds who were into hockey, but we were spending a lot of time together. And it was awesome. We were spending time outside of hockey. We'd do sleepovers. We'd go and we'd bowl and we'd go to the batting cages. And there were all these other girls who were just as passionate about this game as I was and who were really good at it too. Those were some of the best years of my life. It kept me out of a lot of trouble. It kept me on the straight and narrow. And when things started going really wrong in my life, when I started hitting those teenage years and the drama started, hockey was my savior. It saved my life more than once, for sure. All those friendships that rallied around me in my darkest times, and the fact that every time I stepped out on the ice, I was just one of the players. It was all about the game. Everything else didn't matter. And that was always so consistent. And then it gave back to me even more when I started reffing, because suddenly I could make hockey my job. So at 14, as soon as I could, I took that course, I got on the ice, I started calling games. And I'll tell you what, that was an amazing job. I love that job. Then when I went to university, I went out to BC, and I kind of stopped playing in a league, but I kept playing pickup because as a goalie, I mean, everybody wants you to play. I played a lot of pickup in those days, but then I moved home. I moved back to Windsor, and the depression set in. I wasn't playing. I hated that I was back in Windsor. But after about a year of that, I found pickup games. And that pulled me right out of that depression. The magic of this game, the passion that I have for it, it's so intense that it just pulled me right out. And so I just started playing wherever I could. I moved it to Waterloo and I found a league there. And then I moved to Toronto. I found an awesome league out there. And I made a lot of friendships out there. A lot of friendships that are really strong. When you go to the rink and you can turn around and everywhere you see there's somebody who's there to be like, oh hey Bolt, how's it going? You kind of feel like a top dog. And moving back to Windsor, I knew I had to find a league. And so I did. And while it's not the same as my league in Toronto, I'm still playing and the game is still saving my life on a weekly basis. Something else happened when I moved back here. I started a YouTube channel. I really wanted to give back to the game that's given me so much. And so I started doing instructional videos for very beginners on everything they need to know about the game in order to feel confident going out there, in order to make the decision and take the jump into the game. Because the thing with hockey is that it is for everybody. It is one of the most welcoming, open sports. It is one of the most friendly sports. And it's one of the most amazing experiences that a human can have. I believe there is such magic in this game. and everybody should have a chance to experience that. And so whether I'm watching, whether I'm making videos, or whether I'm playing the game, the one thing that sticks with me is that hockey is consistent. Hockey's never let me down, and it's been the one constant in my life. And how many people do you know can say that their first love has never left them? Because I can say that. So I've been studying for this position my entire life without even really knowing it. I've been gaining experience and knowledge, and here I am. Had I not gone to that Detroit Red Wings game at the age of 8 and watched Chris Osgood flop on that puck, I might not have become a goalie. I might not have played travel hockey. And if those things are true, then I definitely know I would not be the person I am today. I never got much of a chance to watch the game growing up. I could sneak in a peek between my dad's Star Trek episodes and my mom's soap operas, but I never got too much of a chance beyond that game to go to another NHL game. So, Chief Hockey Officer would be even better than reffing was, because I could watch and support my favorite NHL franchise, all with my buds next to me. And that's why I'm going to be your next Chief Hockey Officer. Because hockey is amazing, but it's even better with buds.